For anyone trying to lose weight, the hardest part is usually the constant nagging voice in your head telling you to eat. Medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound quiet that noise. They chemically switch off the appetite signals in the brain. The immediate result is a drastic drop in how much food you actually want. Portions shrink, meals are skipped. The volume of food you eat drops almost overnight. But a steep drop in calories comes with a hidden cost. Clinical data reveals that without active intervention, between 25 and 40% of the weight lost on these medications isn't fat, it is lean muscle mass. Losing that much muscle leads to a condition called sarcopenia, which brings on chronic fatigue and weakness. The body is under such intense physiological stress that it often triggers telogen effluvium, a condition that pushes hair follicles into a resting phase, causing severe hair shedding a few months into the weight loss. The medication only does one thing. It suppresses appetite. It doesn't nourish you. That means preventing your body from breaking down its own tissues requires you to actively engineer your daily nutrition. GLP-1 medications operate through a dual blockade. They delay the rate at which your stomach empties its contents, and at the same time, they send an absolute signal of fullness directly to your brain. Your brain is tricked into feeling completely satisfied. But underneath that artificial sense of fullness, your body still desperately needs the raw building blocks required to maintain bone, skin, hair, and muscle. This diagram outlines the 5 biological steps to process protein. It starts with ingestion and digestion, moving to amino acid absorption in the gut. Finally, those amino acids enter the bloodstream and are transported directly into the muscle tissue as new cellular material. By artificially choking off the intake at step 1, the drug breaks the entire supply chain. Without a steady influx of amino acids, the body starts cannibalizing its existing muscle tissue to harvest the energy and proteins it needs. To see how we stop that decay, we need to look inside a single muscle fiber and observe a mechanism called muscle protein synthesis. When this process activates, an enzyme called RNA polymerase attaches to a gene's DNA code. It moves along the strand, assembling a template out of free bases called messenger RNA. That messenger RNA travels to cellular factories called ribosomes. Here, transfer RNA delivers amino acids, linking them until they fold into a complex protein. But this factory doesn't run on a trickle. It remains completely dormant unless you hit a specific biological threshold, requiring a sudden influx of roughly 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single meal. Within that protein dose, the body is looking for a specific essential amino acid called leucine. Leucine acts as the direct biological ignition switch that activates the entire synthesis pathway. This is why casually cutting portions on a GLP-1 is a hazard. To preserve your lean mass, you have to actively force those cellular factories to turn on by delivering targeted, highly concentrated doses of protein. Taking this biology out of the microscope and into the kitchen requires a strict re-engineering of your daily habits. This chart illustrates the daily requirements. While a standard diet might aim for less, halting muscle loss during active GLP-1 weight loss requires between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. This diagram outlines the variables that dictate how effectively that protein stimulates muscle synthesis. The total amount matters, but so do the quality of the protein sources and the distribution of your intake across the entire day. It also depends heavily on the food matrix, the structural properties of the meal itself. Because the medication slows digestion, consuming high-fat, heavy foods can trigger severe nausea and reflux. Prioritizing lean proteins alongside high-fiber cooked vegetables keeps the digestive tract moving without causing blockages. Since your stomach is physically emptying slower, eating 3 large meals a day often results in sudden, painful bloating. The mechanical solution is pacing, breaking your daily targets into 5 or 6 nutrient-dense mini-meals. By controlling the volume, timing, and density of your meals, you stop relying on hunger cues and start using food as a precision tool to bypass the drug's harshest gastrointestinal side effects. This medical infographic demonstrates an optimized dietary framework using the meal methodology. Notice the strict 50-25-25 breakdown of the plate, and specifically the top maintain muscle guidelines, emphasizing 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Protein supplies the raw building materials for tissue, but it doesn't give the body a biological reason to use them. The body needs a mechanical stimulus to spend energy building muscle. That signal only comes from resistance training. Lifting weights or using resistance bands 2 to 3 times a week forces the muscle to adapt and grow. Using these medications successfully requires abandoning the old metric of how much to eat entirely. The priority must shift completely to the absolute quality and density of what you consume. The drug solves the problem of appetite. It makes eating less effortless. But the real achievement, the thing that keeps you healthy, is actively engineering your nutrition and training to protect your strength and your metabolism for the rest of your life.